Hi everyone, I'm Misael Castro. I am an IT program manager, and today I will share a real case of my work experience. But before I jump into that, I want to thank you to the Institute of Project Management for this invitation and to share my experience. So today I will talk about how we launch the first hybrid cloud for a major operator in Chile, which was a end-to-end from a greenfield project start to the commercial launch. Just to give you a little bit context, this was a very innovation project at that time. The customer had a very aggressive plans, and they wanted to be the first in the market and help corporate customers to migrate core legacy applications to the cloud, and of course to minimize their capex and of course the OpEx as well in some cases. So, what was the project approach that we used to develop and delivery of those projects? On one side, we use Agile, and on the other side, we use Waterfall. So at that moment, even the hybrid was not very popular. We use hybrid, and but that was to the nature and to the need of the project. So it was very quick and very easily to adapt. And one thing I can tell is that we learned together, but of course, it was not that easy. Now, what was my role on that project? I was the site project manager, and I worked with the customer, with solution, with the technical team, vendors, and I was basically the CEO of the project. Now, what were the major challenges that we had? We had some, because it was a new project, new of its kind, the customer side, they had some um, challenges with basic cloud skills engineers. So we had to coach them through the requirements, through design, and even to approvals in some cases. And of course, on our side, we also had some challenges. We had some resources who had at that moment limited skills in cloud, and we actually depended on at least 80% on R&D because they were the guys that had all the knowledge, and we had other challenges like time zone and barrier communication because of the language and some other priorities that we had to deal at that moment with R&D versus this project needs. But fortunately, because this project has a high visibility, we got support from HQ. We escalated the case, and we said, hey, this is a class A project with high visibility, with the first of its kind, the first that is being deployed globally, and we really need a stronger support from HQ. So fortunately, we got resources on board, we got resources on site, and things get up to speed quick and fast. Now, of course, because this was a new product, people had few knowledge of how this would work. A lot of assumptions appear at the very beginning of project during the planning, basically of the project. So of course we needed a strong risk management and frequently realignment of those um, some assumptions. Some of them were closed and some of them became some risk or issues, but we fortunately tackled them timely. What we did as a best practice, I would say, in order to achieve the success of this project, we ran workshops on the customer side, working sessions, and on our side we had war room, and the both of them, they were very helpful. On the customer side, we set frequent working sessions, and during of course, customer solution and the technical team, um, and the R&D. So from the high level design to the low level design and to the UAT test, that helps us to move quick and fast. Now, on our side, we had a big war room, and that helped us to streamline communication. That helped us to solve issues quicker, faster, and even remove blockers when needed. And because we had also R&D on the ground, they had direct communication with headquarters, and that also helped us to expedite those dependency or those sometimes bureaucracies that are sometimes delayed in projects. They help a lot. So my recommendation is, if you are running a project, having all the people inside one room, it's awesome. It's very helpful. If you can, if there is a possibility to do so on this kind of projects, do it, and believe me, the results will be amazing. Now, of course, we had to create the stakeholder strategy and communication plans, and at all levels, right? Communication had to flow in all directions, from technical teams, executive level, and managerial. So this helps us to sustain the intense 8 months of work in constant collaboration with the customer. Now, we have to empower people because, projects are built for people and by people. So definitely we had to train people, train our project team, but also to train operations. And on our side and on the customer side. So we had some kind of cross trainings, and we actually involved the operation teams during the construction of the project, specifically during the test, and that helped us to expedite the transition to sustain and operations as well. Now, one component that is very key in every project is building relationships. We are humans and we are social uh, animals, and we love to be in contact with others. So having people and interacting in formal meetings and outside the working environment, for example, like coffee, meals, and sometimes we organize some sport events that really help us to build that trust and reduce the language barriers and even speed up decisions. So collaboration flows smoother when this happens. Now, what we get as a result, we launched the product ahead of our competitors. Uh, we also got onboarded 10 friendly users in the first month, and then started doing corporate migration in the following months. And not to mention that we actually, fortunately, signed the pay-as-you-go contract for 5 years with customer, and this approach was replicated in other countries as well. And of course, I can tell that we were very fortunate that customer also recognized the contribution that we did to their commercial strategy. Now, lessons learned that I would like to share with you guys is that understanding, uh, having a clear picture of the project vision, customer expectations, and what are their more what they value in terms of the project, and what will be the benefits of the project to them. If you translate that to the team, then everybody is on board and things are running smoother because people will understand where the boat is going, what direction we are going, and when we are going to get at the end of this project. So that is why I strongly recommend you to share that information with your team as possible. Now, as mentioned, I had many times share this, but the communication should flow in all directions at all levels. And if you have direct communication, you establish the governance and the communication plan, who talks with and when, and who will, how everyone will report a status, or how people can be informed of a project status. All this kind of information, it's very key, and it will also help you to remove a lot of issues, blockers, and so on. Even in conflicts, if you have a clear communication plan, conflicts can also be managed in a better way. Team charters, team charters are super important. I mean, even at that moment, we didn't call it a team charter. We just call it a working agreements, and that helps us to develop the team as a, I would say, high performing team, because everyone knew the rules and they knew how they should resolve a conflict at the first hand, or how to escalate an issue, and so on. Right now, again, team buildings and the formal, non-formal events are key for you and your projects. And my advice to you as a project is, remember, you are the CEO of the project, and you are the responsible for everything that happens in your project. So that is why it's very important to make sure that you have control of what's happening in your project in all the phases of the, or in all the stages of the life cycle of your project. Okay. Now, um, what else I can tell you? That make sure that you tailor the the project life cycle and delivery approach based on the nature of the project. So try to always create the plan, not by yourself, but with the SMEs, with experts, with the whole team, and also with the customer. It's very important. Now, if you are running a project in uh, how to say, you have people from different countries, different backgrounds, it's important to understand the culture, how the people, your project team members perceive the world, their different perspectives on the project itself. That is very important to have in mind. That will help you also to influence positively on the people. Okay. And finally, remember that all the projects must be documented. The knowledge should be updated through the life cycle of the project. Don't wait until the end to document the project knowledge, and always document lessons learned. And it's very important that you also make the transition to operations and get the sign off of the customer. That will help you to build trust, credibility, and success for your career. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope you find this valuable for you, and all the best and all the success on your projects and your endeavor. Thank you very much, and bye bye.